My name is Bill Kunze. I'm the Executive Director of the Pennsylvania chapter of the Nature Conservancy. Our mission is simple and really huge. It's saving nature. And we can't save it all. So we have to know where to put our efforts. The Delaware River is a global treasure. I would guess that 99% of the people living in the Delaware watershed have no idea that that's the case. It's also really important for people. Essentially, the entire population of the New York metropolitan area and the entire population of the Philadelphia area and everything in between get their drinking water from the Delaware or its tributaries.
The main stem Delaware traverses about 330 or so miles. Its headwaters emanate in the Catskills. The east and the west branch are the major tributaries in New York State. They meet around Hancock and make a winding journey down the Delaware Water Gap, down past Easton, through the more industrial parts of the basin that can be down around Philadelphia, Trenton, Camden, and Wilmington, all the way out to the Delaware Bay and into the ocean. So, like many of our large rivers, it covers a variety of different terrains and includes a number of different habitats for species.
We have three basic strategies in our freshwater conservation work, and all three of them are really important for the Delaware River. We call them the three F's: flow, fish, and floodplains. So the first of those is about flow. The Nature Conservancy is the leader in the science of how a river breathes across a year. So the water level goes up and down seasonally. It goes up and down depending on whether there's a dry spell or a wet spell, and it goes up and down in different parts of the river. And the plants and animals that live in and along the river have evolved in light of all of that.
The Nature Conservancy has really looked to integrate healthy flows, or this natural variation in flows, into water management decisions. And so the needs of the river are included with the needs of humans, and a balance is found so that we're meeting the needs of both. And in such, we can sustain our healthy rivers and communities that rely on it while also meeting the needs of people.
The second strategy has to do with migratory fish.
The Delaware River is one of the largest and last remaining unfragmented or free-flowing rivers east of Mississippi. Because of that, it allows for migratory species such as migratory fish to course upstream and downstream throughout the main stem. The Delaware is known for diatomous or migratory fish species. There's about 8 different species of them, but American shad is really one of the iconic species, in the Delaware. In addition to migratory fish, the Delaware also provides unique critical stopover habitat for migratory shorebirds. I know many of us have heard about the shorebirds that visit the Delaware Bay. They make a very long, arduous journey from South America all the way up to the Arctic, and they stop at the Delaware Bay to refuel, to feed and gorge actually on horseshoe crab eggs. So without that stopover, they wouldn't have the necessary energy reserves to get to where they need to have their young. So the Delaware is really critical because of its ability to support migratory species.
The third kind of strategy that we're pursuing on the Delaware River has to do with floodplains. So a river system is not just the water in the channel. It's also the banks on either side, and in particular the floodplains of the banks and how the river as a living organism moves in and out of the floodplain seasonally.
Floodplains have been altered through time. They've been converted, cleared, and detached from rivers by agriculture, development, or by dams and levees. So there's been a lot of alteration to these systems, and I think that we're starting to recognize that when we disconnect floodplains from rivers, obviously we lose floodplains. But in addition, we lose some of the valuable services that floodplains provide both to the river and to people. And in some situations, we can actually increase some of the risks associated with floods because our floodplains can't function in the capacity to help reduce some of those impacts.
The reason the Nature Conservancy is so critical to the future of the Delaware River is that we're the only organization that brings a combination of an on-the-ground presence everywhere in the watershed, because we have chapters in Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. Combining that with being part of a larger organization and being able to draw on all those resources. And our orientation is to try to keep nature intact so that both nature and we, the people who have evolved in nature and who are still connected to nature, can have full, vibrant, enriched lives.